I just had to try that. I just had to try that. Hi, how are you? Oh my gosh. On this particular program that I'm using, there are so many, well, you can create all these wonderful things, and I don't have time to really mess with all of it, but I've never tried that one before. And I just thought, how fun would that be to be able to just do the countdown and do that? Welcome, welcome. I am Kathy Freeman with Kathy Freeman Art, and we are here to just play a little bit today. Just enjoy ourselves, take 30, 40 minutes, whatever, and just create something just for the sake of just having fun and creating. Not to make a major project, but to just do something that's kind of fun that can go in our art journal and just relax and have a great time. So, what I've got for you today is I've started writing something that I wanted to put in my art journal. And it's a little statement that I came across, a little quote about self-acceptance and being our own friend and things like that. And so I've already gone ahead and written down. Let me see if I could get this all situated here really quick. Okay, I've gone ahead and written this down. I'm going to move myself to a different screen. There we go. Boom. So I've written this down. I didn't want to sit there and write it, but I've gone ahead and written down something. So if you want to do this with me today, just take out some watercolor paper or your journal and just start writing down some of your thoughts. And this one, like I said, it started out with just a quote and that I came across about self-acceptance and I thought, well, and I've added a few of my own thoughts to it, but I don't really want someone to sit and read it. So we're going to go ahead and I decided I want to do some art over the top of it. And just let's get started with that. All right. This particular, what I'm going to use is I've got a spray acrylic that I haven't used in a very long time. And so I thought I'm just going to use this. And, but I need to kind of cover up my table here. Now, I didn't say this before, but as I'm just sitting here creating, if you're joining me now or you've been here and you've, hello, hello. Thank you for showing up and coming. Please put your name and tell me where you're from and say hello in the comments. And any kind of questions or anything that you might have, I'm going to go ahead and focus on what I'm creating here. And then I'll go back and answer those afterwards. I'll just type in a little answer right underneath, your comment or something afterwards. So go ahead and put any comments in you want, any questions or anything. I'm just applying water right now as I'm kind of spreading this out. And the first thing I want to focus on, obviously, is to cover. I don't want to completely cover the words, I don't think, but I don't want someone sitting here reading my inner thoughts. So I'm just trying to decide if I'm going to put this green here. I'm thinking I might put a little bit down just because it goes well with green and fuchsia or this is actually, it looks like a red, but it's a really hot fuchsia. It's a bright fuchsia. And so this green that I'm using is called basil. And it's one of my favorite colors to use. And I think that I love to just interact with these two complementary colors and let them play off of each other. I'm not sure what I'm going to make right now. I just want to be kind of loose and creative. And so don't concern yourself exactly right now with what is it that I'm actually going to make. Let's just think about creating a background, some kind of a background, and then we'll work on to figure out, well, what will be our focal points or what will be, what will draw the person's attention to it. As I'm doing this, it's kind of making me think about a not a forest, but like a meadow. Yes, like a meadow. This is what this is reminding me of. Kind of a little meadow. And these little grasses, this can be like little grass or something sticking up in it. And love using this particular this color. I'm going to try here right now. I want to try some of my, this is just gesso. And so I'm going to, let's just randomly and carefully, I don't want to just cover up all this beautiful color, but I'm going to calm it down a little bit and set some of those words back so you can't really see them as well. You get a hint and you know something's there. It's like a little peekaboo. But um, I don't want them to be able to read, all these little thoughts and that. Um, this gesso is great to work to go over. Now, my green here obviously is still wet. So it's going to blend a little bit, which is great. That's what I'm sitting here and playing with this, and I'm thinking, well, this is kind of neat. This is interesting. And just kind of the abstract look, this impressionistic, let's see what we come up with. Have you been creating something today? Go ahead and post in their comments what maybe if you've created something, what you created today and what you're working on. If I want this a little darker over here, a little more intense. And so I tend to be a bit of a finger painter. Some people might not like that, but I do. I'll grab that gesso and I'll use my fingers as I'm going along here, just because I can really get a sense and a feel of how much I'm putting down and can blend some of that in. And I'm thinking, I love, if you've been with me or watched me, I love mountain ranges. And I'm thinking that if this is going to be a little bit of a meadow, this might be nice to put some kind of a mountain range back there. So that's why I'm putting on a little bit more intensity on my gesso just to create that surface I can work with. Gosh, one thing I have to really watch myself though is just overdoing a little bit on something and to tell myself to stop and not keep overworking. So I have to really watch and tell myself, okay, that's good. That's great. That's good. Do you ever have that happen to you where you get to a point and it looks actually really pretty great what you've got, and then you just keep going a little bit further, and it's not that it ruins it, but it make sure that's nice and dry. Now I'm taking this. This is a midnight blue is the color that I'm actually using, but I'm using the side of my brush here. I want to just sketch out with my brush, freehand, just sketch out some mountains. Just loosely put down some of these shapes and that. Let's see if I kind of blend this a little bit this way. This might be good. I want to kind of make this, let's see, this two separate mountains, one going behind the other. I don't want to put too much detail in, but let's just play a little bit and kind of play with it, blend that in. Create myself some sort of a horizon line. Get that going across. And isn't that interesting? Isn't that I don't know, I just think that's cool. All of a sudden, it's starting to take on shape, isn't it? I bring back some of my white, lighten up some of this. This is an angle brush I'm just using, and I'm going right over the top of the midnight blue, lightening up some of the areas. And let's when I start creating, this is me. When I start creating mountains and that, I'm not thinking about I've got to make this realistically look like a mountain. The shape, I think, gives it away right there. But I'm always thinking about just playing with it and adding color to it and letting the color and the other things I add to it kind of give the dimension or I don't know, the texture that the mountains have. Grab my gesso. I'm just using gesso for my white rather than white acrylic. And let's do the clouds. Billowing clouds are my favorite. Going back and forth and just thinking about those clouds floating across the sky. Did you ever look up at the clouds and watch them and see, oh, what is that up there? That looks like a dragon. That looks like, did you ever do that? Did you ever watch the clouds and imagine what that could be by the what you see in the clouds? It's always a fun thing to do. Just imagine. Let's see now. What's next? So I think it's time to start getting a little defining. We can start thinking now about um, let's make this grass here a little more defining. I'm using the same color I had originally, and I'm using the side of my brush right now, and I'm going just vertically down, quick strokes, and making it like a grassland, or I don't know, something like that. Mixing it in. I love that mysterious kind of abstract look that is created. Get a darker green now I'm adding let's define a little bit, get a little more definition here going on. You can see my palette. Take some of that midnight blue and I mix it in with the green that I was using originally. And that's how I'm coming up with this color. The nice thing about blending our colors like this is because you're using the two different colors that are already in your artwork, it creates that harmonious feeling. And I love this salmony kind of bright color. I'm going to just create some flowers now and just be loose. Not going to concern myself. Let's see. Let's use a teeny tiny brush and put a little color back here. Like there's a grouping of these flowers just to give the impression of those back there. And I always hum when I sit and work. I picked this color. One, I have it close on my table here, but two, because of the blue that I've used in the mountains, I think that that adds another element to another complement. Orange and the blue working together. Just make little tiny petals. These are just making like little 5-star, 6-star. Nothing really realistic, just getting some shapes down here that resembles some petals. And I want to look like there's something going on here in the background too. All right, mix up some of this a little more. A little bit here just to kind of create a shadow back. Putting some straight water on. I'm not sure if I like this, that I've done this now, but I probably would have liked it if I just kind of left that alone. You just keep working. Just keep working. Gesso here. It's all in the layering, isn't it? Which I just love. I love the layering. Normally, I would pull out my pastels and use. Tonight, I'm just going to use straight acrylic and not pull out any pastels. You got to make sure it's time to start doing a little detail work. Make sure everything if you do this and you pull out, I like to use the micron pens because they're very fine tipped and they're not super heavy and dark. So I don't feel like they're in your face too much. So I end up using those quite a bit, but make sure your work is dry. It's because you can mess up a pen really quickly. Since this is out in the meadows, I would imagine there's some wild I don't want to say weeds, but you might say these little plants, this little Just kind of something I do with all my work, typically most of the time, is I'll go from a real loose impressionistic look and then come back in here now and start getting something that's a detailed. And you might not like this. You might want to just keep it. But you won't know if you like it until you try it. So let's add some little grasses down here, and we're getting kind of finished here pretty quick. Love that. Love it. I love it. Go ahead and just a few of these. Let's go ahead and outline. Try that and see. I chose this one because that other one is further back, and so I don't want to, call attention to it. I want the detailing should be closer to us. Might as well go ahead. Just play. We're just playing with it. I'm not pressing really hard. All right, let's see. Need to brighten up some of these areas, I feel like. Yeah, I didn't like how I did that, but let's come back in and blend them in a little bit. I do like, though, the darker. So let's add some over here and kind of repeat the same thing. Personally, I think that's important. If you're doing something on rather than just at one location, do it in a couple of other locations, and it helps. I think it helps our eye to move around the work. And this is building up some contrast in our piece here. Balances out so that the mountains aren't just the most dominant. We'll get some darker color down here. See how that kind of takes your eye and helps you so you don't just go straight to the mountain. You do see that the contrast gives it a little more unity. All right. Yeah. It's coming right along, isn't it? How's yours? Are you painting? Who's painting with me? Let's add a little of this light back in and starting to take shape. We put a little of this green up here on the mountainside. Blend this out. Get some contrast here. Really ground these mountains. Bit of a shadow coming out. I love that. Love that. My brush is little, so kind of this helps to blend it out, this larger brush. All right. A bit of water works wonders. What I'm doing now, I'm creating more of a, so that they flow together rather than two separate elements here. So that's what I'm just kind of playing. Take some, let's take the gesso, go back over it and lighten it up a little. Be willing to play with it back and forth. Okay, I love that. I love it. I'm happy with this. I could come back in and maybe darken up a few areas, come back in and brighten up, my flowers here a little bit and something, but I'll probably, and maybe even add some more gesso up to the top. I think up here where the clouds and that are, but I love this. I think this is great. Let me come back here and see if I can get myself back. There we are. Yes, yes. So fun to create this. And just to take a few minutes, I didn't want to take a lot of your afternoon, your evening here, but just 30 minutes or so and share with you. Just be creative and do something fun. And it can go in my journal, and I enjoy creating this. So I hope that this inspires you to do something tonight if you haven't already done something. And write out your thoughts like I did with this one, and then paint over them and let that image and that become part of that journal page and your thoughts and impressions. All right, we are already here at about 30 minutes, and I'm going to sign off, but I will be seeing you again. And I'm going to go back and check all the comments and see if there's anything and answer. And thanks so much for showing up. I'm Kathy Freeman, and my website is kathyfreemanart.com. You can go over there and check out some of the other little classes that I have, some free classes over there that you could take. And if you are just a beginner or even more of an advanced, there's some things there that just a few that you can be creative with and have a great time. All right. So go over and check out my, there's a little art village that is where I house all of our information in our library, and that for my Art Sisters, which is my membership group. I teach art too. But go over and see what I've done with the with the decoration. I've set it up for the holidays. It's just silly, but it's kind of fun to do. How do you get there? You go to www.myartsisters.com, and that'll take you directly to the little art village. All right. Okay, you have a great day. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and I will see you again. We'll do this again next week. Have a great, great, great